Should you spend $10,000 or even a monthly subscription fee in order to access and use Tesla's full self-driving system? This is a bit of a loaded question that I've answered in previous videos, and I've either gotten praise for my stance and my opinions, or absolutely torn apart from people who think I'm just plain stupid. And either way, whatever you think about full self-driving, I think at least it's worth a discussion. And many people, kind of from the outside looking in, don't exactly know what the difference is. What is autopilot? What is full self-driving? What is the difference? And does full self-driving give you $10,000 worth of value and a great promise in order to make it worth the money, especially considering it has a lot of caveats, or even if it's worth the monthly full self-driving subscription fee, which by the time you're watching this video could potentially be out or very close to being out. Let's talk about the differences between AP, FSD, and see which one is right for you. Now, if there's anything good that comes with all of this, it is the matter of choice, and the Tesla has made this choice pretty clear for better or worse. Because if you had asked this question a while ago, you would have gotten a lot of different answers. Autopilot was not standard on many Tesla vehicles. It was an option you had to pay for, and then there were also different levels of autopilot. There was basic autopilot, there was enhanced autopilot, there was the full self-driving package, and some features were locked to some tiers while some were available for other tiers. It was a little bit confusing. And now Tesla has done us a good service by basically making autopilot standard on every car that is not the standard range Model 3 for $35,000, but have also taken away some of those middle ground features that you'd have in enhanced autopilot and reserved them just for full self-driving. So you basically have two choices. You either enjoy autopilot as it stands with its basic functionality, that's still great, or you spend a lot of money and buy full self-driving, which begs the question, of course, what do you really get for each? Like I mentioned, autopilot comes standard on all Tesla vehicles, and it's basically a combination of auto steer, which is a beta product as of right now, along with Tesla's excellent traffic aware cruise control. So basically the car can stop and go and basically adjust its speed automatically based by the following distance you have set of the car in front of you, and even objects and cars around you and behind you, and also will steer. So it'll go to the left, it'll go to the right, it will steer for you as you drive. That particular skill set is really nice. Autopilot is a wonderful thing, and as it stands right now, it's really mainly used for highway driving because it's really only going to do one thing. It's going to keep you going in a particular lane. You can't go from left to right. Well, you could, but you have to disengage autopilot. But as it's active, you can really only stay in one lane and basically stop and start. It will work on city streets, but it's not going to do anything but start and stop. Even that, it has to follow a car in front. It's not going to stop at stoplights or stop signs. That is not included in the basic autopilot package, but it is wonderful to use on the freeway. And even if you just use autopilot on freeway, like I have been doing, it is still a wonderful thing. It takes away a lot of the fatigue from driving, a lot of that horrible stop and go traffic. It makes much, much better. And as someone who does a lot of driving in Southern California and the Los Angeles area, autopilot has been absolutely amazing. And even though I really only use it on the freeway, that's basically all I'd really need to use it for anyways, because I don't mind driving on the street. It is fun and a joyous occasion to drive my Tesla, but on the freeway when I'm going from point A to point B, especially a road trip or a long distance, that is where autopilot comes in clutch and is just a wonderful feature to use and really enjoy. But just to be clear, like I mentioned, it does have its limitations. It'll only basically keep you in the lane. If you turn on your turn signal to go left or right, that is going to disengage autopilot. Also, you can use it on city streets, and it does a great job of following the car in front of you, but if you are alone, basically driving on a street, it is not going to stop at a stoplight or a stop sign because autopilot, basic autopilot, just doesn't do that. That requires a feature inside of full self-driving, which we'll get to in a minute. So I just wanted to make sure that the caveats and the boundaries of AP are very clear. It is a wonderful feature set. It is awesome. It's one of the best parts of owning a Tesla, but it doesn't do everything. And if you want to kind of step up its brain power to do more things, that is where you have to shell out the money for full self-driving. And currently, as it stands right now in 2021, full self-driving does have some caveats, but it's increasingly getting better, and it has so many features that are wonderful to have. And even if you just want one or two, or maybe you just only use one or two, it does have a very impressive skill set, which really kind of shows the power of Tesla's software and hardware. One of the fan favorite features for many people is auto lane change. Basically the feature that you wish you had on basic autopilot that lets your car change lanes. So if you're on the freeway and you hit your turn signal to go to the left lane or the right lane, the Tesla is going to make that change for you. It'll make sure that the lane is clear, make sure the cars are a good distance away from you, and it will automatically make that change over to the next lane. Again, not a thing on basic autopilot, but you can do that on full self-driving. It's one of those things that's super cool, and I wish Tesla would just throw us a bone and at least give us auto lane change in basic autopilot, because that would be really nice to see. But it's one of those reasons that many people make the switch just to have that feature with full self-driving. Another big feature is navigate on autopilot, which basically, as the name suggests, will allow your car to drive on autopilot to your destination. And as it kind of stands right now in 2021, if you're not a part of the beta, navigate on autopilot is perfect for basically going from freeway on-ramp to freeway off-ramp. So you tell it where you want to go, it'll make all the merges automatically, it'll make the lane change automatically, it'll do the thing that you don't want to do and basically just drive the car for you. But once it gets to city streets, it's a bit more limited. Now, once full self-driving's beta program rolls out to more people and that feature set really becomes official, then you've basically got full city street driving as well. That's one of the big promises of full self-driving, is that one day your car will be able to drive on the highways, on the streets, fully autonomous, and basically drive you around. That's coming, and it's there, and the beta is very promising. But as it stands right now, navigate on autopilot really is made for the highway, though it does work on surface streets. It's not quite to that sophisticated level that most people think of as basically autonomous driving on city streets. Great on the freeway, getting better on surface streets, and will increasingly get better once that beta officially rolls out. Another awesome feature is auto park, which again, as the name would suggest, helps your car basically automatically park, whether it's just into a tighter parking space or it's maybe a parallel parking job that the car has to do. The car will basically take over and automatically park itself in a spot. Super nice to see. One of those features that would make so much sense for Tesla just to allow us to buy a la carte, but they don't. And another really cool feature to see is Summon and the new Smart Summon Come to Me feature. And basically Summon would allow you to pull the car forward and backward just by using an app on your phone. So if your garage doesn't have a lot of room on the left and the right, if you just want to kind of have the car back itself in and bring itself out, you can use Summon to summon the car to a different direction, which is very cool to see. But even crazier than that is the new Smart Summon Come to Me feature, which basically, let's say the rain's pouring down from the sky, you've just exited the grocery store and you don't want to go all the way to the parking lot and get your car and put the groceries inside. You'd rather just have the car come to you. Well, there is a feature, if you own full self-driving, to have the car do that. It will pull out of its parking spot, it will navigate different pedestrians and other obstacles in its way, and it will come to you at the front of the store or wherever you happen to be, even on the other side of the parking lot. It's got some quirks and some bugs to work out, but it is absolutely incredible to see in person in a real-life demo, and this just goes to show the promise and the hard work going on inside of Tesla. These engineers are doing some amazing work, the hardware is there, and as the software starts to catch up and things start to fall into place, you can see just the raw capability of what these Tesla vehicles can do. It is just crazy cool to see this as an option, and again, one of those great bonus perks that you get if you shell out the money for full self-driving. You also get stoplight and stop sign detection inside of full self-driving, so basically the car will know when to stop and come to a stop at a stop sign or a stoplight. And also a nice little perk is when the light turns green, your car will chime and let you know that it's time to go. Basically, it is very smart and it's able to read those signs around you and give you a little bit more of a feedback and control option with full self-driving. So like all good things, full self-driving does have a couple of caveats that you should be aware of before you buy. The first, of course, is the price. It is $10,000 as it stands right now in 2021. Now you do have a couple of options. You can either roll that into a lease payment or a loan, so it doesn't sting nearly as bad, or you could even buy it after the fact. So if you do want to drop $10,000 later on through a credit card or you want to pay cash, you have the option to do that after you buy the car. If you just buy it with basic autopilot, you can upgrade that later on as well. What Tesla wants you to understand is that this is an investment. This is an investment in the technology. It's an investment in their engineers, and you're investing in the promise that one day you will have full autonomy, full driving with your car, and that one day your car can basically make money for you as it drives around in the Tesla robo-taxi fleet. But that is another video for another day. Basically, know that as it stands right now, this money is an investment, and you are buying it with the idea that it's a discount right now, even though it's expensive, that it can do more in a year or two and even 6 months from now. It's more capable than what it is right now. So just keep that in mind. The other big caveat besides price is that as it stands right now, again, full self-driving is tied to the car, not to the account. So if you bought a brand new car with full self-driving, you drive it off the lot and you total it, there goes full self-driving. It's gone because it's not tied to the account, it's tied to the physical car. If you sell that car, you turn it in from a lease, full self-driving is also gone. So that is one of the biggest disadvantages, and one of the things I think Tesla should do if you spend the money on full self-driving is make it available to the account. So if you buy another Tesla, you basically bought full self-driving at a locked fixed price, and you can continue to reap the benefits of your investment on other vehicles. Or better yet, allow one person on the account to buy it, and then allow everyone who has Teslas on that account to enjoy it. So maybe a spouse buys it, then the other spouse can enjoy it in their car. Maybe a family of 3 or 4 Tesla owners can enjoy it as well. It's another thing that Tesla doesn't currently do but could easily do in order to make this a little bit better. And then of course there's also this upcoming full self-driving subscription service that's confirmed. It is all but launched. It's supposed to launch very soon. We don't know exact pricing details on that at the time of this filming, but again, there's a good chance that it already is launched by the time you're watching this, and it's about $100-ish, $200 a month. And that is another thing to consider if you just kind of want to enjoy these features on a month-by-month basis, but not commit any substantial amount of money in order to buying it outright. Another great option, but again, many different caveats to consider. So to answer the original question, should you buy full self-driving? Well, I think it kind of depends on the driving that you do and the money you want to put into a Tesla investment. On one hand, I know many people who are happy with no autopilot in their cars. People who own the base $35,000 Tesla and just don't care for autopilot. And even some people who have higher end Teslas that don't use autopilot as well. I really love autopilot. I love using it on the freeways. Again, as a Southern California driver, it has been a godsend. It is amazing. And I'd love to have the features of full self-driving, but I don't want to pay $10,000 in order to have them. I would love for Tesla just to offer them a la carte, and I could buy maybe 1 or 2 at a discounted price, but Tesla is not going to do that. So in that case, the subscription makes so much more sense for me. But if you are someone who doesn't mind the investment up front, and you want to kind of lock into an existing feature set with the idea that you're going to own this car and you're going to have it for a while, and you want to enjoy the fruits of the labor of Tesla's work, then it does make sense to spend that money now and get more in return later in theory. It does give you a lot of compelling options. There are a lot of really great features built into full self-driving that many I know use all the time. Navigate on autopilot and auto lane change alone are great to have. And I think that if you plan on owning your car for 5 or 6 years, it could be a very worthwhile investment. You also do get to take advantage of some, extra goodies and Easter eggs before everyone who has regular autopilot, so another thing as well. And if you really do kind of believe in Tesla and you kind of want to make that investment, then your money is going to a good cause, so to speak. Though maybe you should just buy Tesla stock and get better returns, but I'm not offering that kind of advice in this video. Basically, you can't go wrong with basic autopilot. It is a wonderful addition to every car, and if you feel compelled for that feature set or you don't mind spending that money up front, then full self-driving is great. But if you'd rather just kind of wait and see if you like it or not and kind of want to see how those features work into your driving habits, then that subscription that's coming soon just makes so much sense. Anyways, what are your guys' thoughts on full self-driving? Did you buy full self-driving? Did you not? What price did you buy it at? What do you think is a very fair price? And what are your thoughts on the subscription service? Are you all in on these features? Is there one feature you'd use more than another? Or do you never use autopilot at all anyways? You just don't care? Curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld. Thank you very much, and I'll see y'all in the next one.